Now, to begin understanding life, let's first take a look at the smallest unit of life, the cell. As you know, bacteria are made up of only one cell and represent the biggest population of organisms on Earth. In fact, in my body alone, there are almost 10 trillion bacteria. The first thing a bacterium needs to survive is to be able to keep its components from floating away. For this reason, God created the cell membrane, which is the most essential structure that a bacteria needs.
For example, let's think of a glass filled with water. If you turn the glass upside down without using a lid, the entire liquid in it will flow out. This is how a bacterium is. If the bacterium did not have a cell membrane, all the vital substances it contains would spill out.
The most basic unit of living beings is the cell, and the door between the outer world and the cell is its membrane. The most important function of this structure is to prevent the negative conditions of the outside world from damaging the sensitive molecules inside the cell, and to enable the selective exchange of substances between intracellular and extracellular environments.
Yes, the goal is quite simple. The function of a cell membrane is to prevent an uncontrolled outflow of the substances inside the cell, like the walls of a house. At the same time, it also prevents random substances from entering the cell. However, this structure is definitely not simple, and as we look deeper into the details, an astonishing world greets us.
The molecular structure of the cell membrane is very complex. It spots the right substances the cell needs from among hundreds of different chemical substances and allows only those to enter. For this purpose, it uses various methods based on the sizes of the substances to be imported. The substances allowed to pass through the cell membrane include small molecules such as electrons, photons, ions, and water, medium-sized molecules such as amino acids and sugars, and sometimes large molecules such as proteins and RNA, which require specific methods for their transfer. The cell membrane allows the small molecules it needs to be filtered through the cell membrane. Some molecules pass through the protein channels embedded in the cell membrane, while others can pass only with the help of a carrier protein. When the protein contacts the molecule to be taken inside the cell, the shape of the protein changes, allowing the molecule to pass through the cell membrane. Each protein in the protein channel has a unique amino acid sequence and size. Cell membrane proteins know which substances they should carry, and they are meticulous about their job. For example, the system that carries sugar will not carry amino acids. The carrier proteins distinguish between the two molecules based on their forms and atomic numbers. For example, if there's the slightest change in the geometrical shape of a molecule, despite having the same atomic number and chemical group with another molecule, the carrier system will detect it immediately and will not carry that molecule. The nucleus of the human cell also has a membrane around it and boasts a very unique structure. This place is given an extra protection with a separate membrane because the DNA is kept here. The DNA contains all the information necessary for the survival of the human body, and this valuable treasure is carefully protected. Only the molecules needed for the DNA and protein synthesis are allowed to pass through the nucleus membrane. At this point, scientists discovered an amazing miracle. The pores responsible for the passage of substances through the nucleus membrane recognize proteins to be allowed in from their specific amino acid sequences. Neither the structure nor the size of the protein that will pass through the membrane is significant. For the nucleus membrane, what is important is this special sequence, that is, lysine, 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 arginine, lysine. If it is the right sequence, the pore will be enlarged to allow the passage. Scientists have yet to unravel the mystery of how the pores know about the size of the proteins without knowing their structure.
The cell membrane alone shows the vastness of the information needed in the cell. It is obviously not possible for this wonderful structure to come into existence as a result of random combination of lifeless materials such as stone, soil, or water that are completely unconscious and have no knowledge. The most basic elements in a living organism are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, because they make up the proteins, which are the building blocks of life.